This video is sponsored by Voxy, the pay-as-you-go mobile network that gives you unlimited social media for as little as £10 a month. For a limited time, sign up to Voxy through the link in the description to receive a £40 reward after making only 2 monthly payments. You'll also be directly supporting the channel. So click the link in the description to sign up now. Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, Jamie Lawler and Zach Woods. Good evening, guys. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. Bit disappointed about last night, but nothing new, is it?
No, unfortunately not.
Ditto.
Jamie has just got back from Cheltenham, if I'm not wrong in saying. How was that, mate?
Yeah, it was great. My lesson that I've learned is don't fucking bet on horses, and that's it really. That's your Jamie Lawler advice of the week. Don't bet on horses.
Don't bet in
It never
general,
works.
to be honest. Don't bet in
Yeah.
general, I think,
Yeah,
is
just
the...
don't do it. Like,
yeah.
it just didn't work. We moved.
Advice
It's
from
fine.
Jamie.
I had a
Advice
great
from
day.
Jamie.
I had a good time. I hung out with friends, but financially it wasn't great. But we moved. It's okay. I'm not going to
How
talk
much-
about the fact that it was like 20 quid to eat and have anything to drink. Yeah, we moved on from that as well.
How much money did you spend roughly in one day?
To be fair, I was good. I brought a budget. I kept to it. I'm not going to say how much. I kept to a budget, and we moved because I know my brother and my mother might watch this. So
Yeah.
I kept
We'll
within my
respect
limits.
him.
I kept
No
within my
food for the
limits.
family for the next 2 weeks, then, is it?
Kept within my limits. That's what I'm saying.
Good
I get
man.
paid on Monday, and I can't fucking wait for it.
I need the money. Oh god. Speaking of teams that need money, we're talking about Birmingham City tonight.
Oh, that was smooth. That was good, that was good. Give this kid a promotion.
Oh
That was
god.
great.
Sorry, what can I say? I'm just too
10
good
out of 10. 10 out of 10. Oh, we deserve our own studio, don't we?
Oh,
With
man.
transitions like that, unreal.
Yeah, you don't know what you're in for, honestly. This is going to be a mad episode of the Blues Focus podcast, trust me. So let's talk about the Watford game first. Then we'll reflect on the Rotherham game, and then we'll do the QPR game to finish off with. So who would like to give their overall on the Watford game the other night, last night?
For a start, do we have to talk about it?
Yes, Jamie, I'm sorry.
Do we have to? All right, that sound. We were fucking shit. How's that? Like the first
all right.
half was awful. Like let's be fair about it. The first half was diabolical. I don't understand how you go and play 4-3-3 and then divert straight back to a back five and then get confused when you've not gone forward once and you're 2-0 down 15 minutes in or something. It was woeful. We could have gone in at that half time 6-0 down. The second half was a mass improvement, but we couldn't hit a barn door last night. I don't know what's happened to Hogan. Like he missed about 4 sitters. Trusty missed pretty much an open goal. Like it just weren't happening, was it? And then we just got killer blowed from Basombalonga, was it?
Yeah, that was the
Basombalonga
one
scored
that kind of
third,
killed
yeah.
it off, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, poor Ruddy couldn't do anything about the third. He literally did the same. It smacked him back on the nose, hit Basombalonga again, and just bobbled in like.
Just a bit lucky,
Hey.
really.
Yeah, it was a bad night at the office. It blows my mind how we can go from such a good performance against Rotherham and then back to the ways we did against Watford. I was very frustrated seeing the lineup announced, to be fair, seeing we were going back to a 5-back and seeing the likes of Chang and Hall dropped after what I thought were 2 fantastic performances against Rotherham. I think tactically Eustace got it very, very wrong last night. I mean, to go 2-0 down within 16 minutes, there's no point watching the rest because we know we weren't going to get back into the game. We had a good spell after the second half, a good 10-15 minutes, good spell. But apart from that, yeah, it was just the usual poor Blues. It's just so infuriating, isn't it? Because Watford of late haven't been that great. I don't think they won in about 8 or so games. They've been struggling big time for points. I know Chris Wilder are coming and a bit of a manager bounce is expected, but it's just another really, really bad performance. Tactically got it wrong all over the pitch. Yeah, just no one stood out as good last night. It was just another dire performance.
Yeah, it got me worried a little bit because I was thinking, the Rotherham game was, decent. We did well, but I feel like, if other teams like Blackpool below us who won 6-1 last night, who played QPR. So that's a little bit of a boost, but still, if teams like that below us are going to start winning by that much, and we've got teams like Sheffield United on the last day of the season, then we're still not safe. We're definitely not safe, that's for sure.
No, no.
Um,
Just to add there, we did film a podcast before this that never went out, but we had a question: do you think we're safe? And even at 10 points clear, we're now 7 points clear, aren't we? But even at 10 points clear, we all agreed we're not safe. There's still more to do. We still got more points to pick up. We think 48, 49 is what we need to be aiming for to be safe. We said it last time, but teams tend to pick up points, don't they, in the last few games of the season that don't normally do so. So yeah, you're right. We are most definitely nowhere near safe yet.
I feel like actually no. I'll move on to this question first. So from Ricky Morgan, what mathematically, what points tally do we need to be safe from the drop? Interesting question.
Yeah, I think 48, 49. I don't think it will necessarily need to be 50 this season. I feel like the amount of points do seem a bit lower this season compared to previous seasons. But regardless, we should still be aiming for 50. I think whether or not we need it, I still think we should do it because it's always nice when you know you're safe to enjoy the last game or two of the season, and we
Yeah.
don't want it to go to the last game or two where there's so much pressure on a team and players to perform. And we're just all biting our nails as to whether we can get a couple of goals to stay up or not. We want to do it in good time. I think 48, 49 points, we will be okay. But I'd like us to hit the 50 mark.
Jamie?
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree with Zach on that. 48, 49 keeps us safe. And again, I would love to do it a couple of games to spare. Because I'd like to see a lot of the young lads play as well. I'd like to see, you know, like Bowie did the other year when we were safe after that. Was it Rotherham when we beat them, or we drew at Derby or something 2-2? And that was, or we beat Derby, weren't we? And we were safe at that point. And then, like, I know we got dicked a bit towards the end of that season on his first season in, but we played the youth, we gave them game time, and it'd be good to see the future of Birmingham a little bit more. You know, them future players that will eventually come through. Give your Alfie Chang a run of games. He's been class. Give
Yeah.
your Jordan James. Give Jordan James game time, by the way. That's my new petition for Blues. What's that kid done wrong? Because he was outstanding, and then he was great again last night, I thought, off the bench. I thought JJ played great off the bench last night.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Me and Dad were talking about this actually on when we were walking the dogs earlier. We were literally saying like, is it time to give the youngsters some game time? Because
Hell yeah.
I mean, I don't think we'll go down, but we still mathematically can. But they seem to be our best performing players at the moment. Jordan James, Chang Hall. You know, those players, they are performing better than some of the first team players. So it's worth giving them a go, I think. Really, I do.
Yeah, I don't see why not. We had the midfield three against Rotherham of Hall, Jordan James, and Alfie Chang, and they were all superb. And then we go back to five at the back, three in midfield, and it doesn't work. It's so frustrating. I don't understand why Eustace changed the winning formula last night. It makes I'm sorry, it makes no sense whatsoever. For me, reverting to that five back last night and playing as defensive as we did just says we're more than happy with a point. We're scared. We're going to sit back and we're going to defend for our lives. That's not the mindset we should be having. Watford were on a poor run of form. It was a good opportunity to get 3 points or at least a point to get a bit more clear of that drop zone. But no, we wanted to sit back. We wanted to defend, and within 16 minutes, it completely capitulated and it was game over. So ridiculous. I think that's my biggest frustration. I don't think Eustace gets a load wrong tactically. I think he has at points, but not a load wrong. But last night was evident that he got it horribly wrong. No need to change back to old tactics that weren't working when four at the back and a more attacking style of play worked really well against Rotherham.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like we were always likely to lose the game. But I feel like had we have played the same team that we played against Rotherham, we'd been more in the game. We'd have had more chances. We probably could have even scored one of those chances because we would have created more. Um, but yeah, I feel like we weren't very confident going into the game, were we? When we were looking at it the other day, I feel like it's one of those games where if we'd just performed well, there wouldn't be any worries. But because we haven't, it's now like this is not looking great. Still, like those teams like Sheffield United that we are still having to play at the end of the season. If things aren't safe, then it could get worrying. Really. Let's have a look at some more questions then. So we've got one from Let's see. Let's go for this one, Dave. Longello signs just to allow us to play more loans, or is there a plan with him that we aren't seeing yet? Thoughts on that?
Can I take this one, please, fellas?
Yeah, I knew you
Uh, uh,
would.
right. In fairness, I thought Graham was quite good last night. I think I'll always. I think Graham's an easy player to criticise and a bit of a scapegoat at times, but I actually thought he held his own fairly well in a left wing back role last night. And let's be honest, he played striker and right wing at Gillingham, and now he's being asked to play in the complete opposite position at left wing back for Blues. So, in fairness to him, I thought he did okay, but I completely agree in that we've just spent £400,000 on Longolo. Finances are limited as it is. We can't afford too much on players, so the £400,000 is probably quite precious for a club like us at the moment. So why just keep him on the bench? Why not bring him on and give him some game time? I think he's a great player. I've voiced it multiple times on here. I think he's a very good player. I don't see why he doesn't deserve a go, because I think the times he has played this season, he's proven he's more than capable of doing well in that role.
Can I hear the superb again?
He's fucking superb, unreal, unreal. Nah, he's
Go
he's
on,
a
Zach.
he's a good he's a good
Go on,
player, and I think
say
he
what you
deserves
just.
more game time. I agree. I agree. Very good player.
Go on, Jamie. Give us your give us your
I don't really know how to.
unimpressed thoughts about
I
him.
don't know how to follow that up. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, is this
Yeah.
okay? Yeah, I don't know how to follow this up. Like it was, he's right. The only issue is, I think, is you've still got to teach him how to play football, haven't you? That's sometimes a bit of an issue. It's a
Oh
joke. I
man.
feel,
Oh
I do feel
man.
like, especially last night, like, or even in the Rotherham game, I don't get why he wasn't put on. In all fairness, because Rotherham game, if you're going to take Kadra off, that's fine. Bring him on. We saw it against
Yeah.
Swansea away. He changed the game. In all fairness, when he came on in that left midfield role.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
what
he's
annoyed
resting
me.
him. Maybe he's got an injury that we don't know about, a little niggle or something. Like, these things happen, don't they? Because of our squad numbers, maybe we're just having to put him on every so often. Because surely there's a reason he's not playing him. Because, alright, I know I'll take the piss with Longello, but you know what? He's not that bad. He's actually alright, to be fair. There's a good footballer in there. So I think he
Mm.
deserves a bit of game time. I'm hoping if we do get this safety secured pretty soon, we could play Longello a bit more.
Yeah, well, we should be playing him now because he's
Yeah.
technically been a first team player all season. It's some of the other younger players I feel like should be probably given more of a chance because I feel like I read what Alfie Chang said about being included more in the first team lineup. He says if I do get the opportunity to be in the team more, then I'm going to give 100%, and that's what you can see from those players. Like
Yeah.
from the main first team players, you don't really like they probably are trying. The impression you get from them though is that they're not trying, but players like Chang really do look like they're trying because they're battling away, they're fast, they're quick,
Mm.
they give that impression. And players like Chong like last night was just all
Mm.
over the place, couldn't get control of anything. It was just like
Yeah, see, I've got to be honest. I think for me, it's not an effort thing. It's just a lack of quality. I think a lot of
yeah,
people are saying we've got a fantastic team that probably should be doing better than they are, but there's a reason we're in 19th, and there's a reason we're struggling for points and have been since the World Cup. There are some good names on that sheet, but I think compared to other championship teams, we do lack that quality and that cutting edge. I wouldn't say it's an effort thing. I just think we lack that quality in the team. And as I said, there are some good names in there, and they've proven they can get good results like they did pre-World Cup, but it's about doing it over a consistent basis. And I think if you can't, it's difficult. I wouldn't say if I'd say the team's quality if they could consistently pick up results. The fact they can't pick up results consistently, I'd say it's almost just glimmers of decent football.
yeah,
But if you can't do it consistently, I think it just shows that lack of quality. I don't think it's effort. I just think there's not enough quality in the team.
I think the issue comes back to when was the last time we had consistency in Birmingham City, though?
Haven't for
yeah.
years, mate. Haven't for
Rowett?
years. On
Monk?
and off the pitch. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question from Ollie. If a takeover happens, do you think sorry, let me start again. If a takeover happens, do you think Eustace is the manager to take us forward? Of all the players out of contract at the end of the season, is there anyone you would keep?
Go on, Jamie.
I think, yeah, you know what, right? I know I swing between in and out with Eustace all the time. Like last night when we were 2-0 down, I'm in a group chat with my other lot who are all Birmingham fans and instantly just put out And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, actually, he's a young manager. This is a tough division. It's his first proper season in the Championship. He's young. He's going to make some mistakes managerially. I think he's got a bright future. There's a reason lads Watford and that wanted him pre-season before us because they see promise in him as well. He's a young British manager. I'd say just give him a chance. If a takeover does happen, let's see what he can do with a bit of money. Because surely, like, he's restricted, do you know what I mean? Like, he wants to play a nice passing game of football, and he's got Arlie Dean and Mark Roberts at the start of the season at centre half. Like, you ain't playing no tick-attack of football there.
But I feel like with Eustace, though, one thing that could perhaps let him down over in the new takeover. Yes, he's a new manager, and yes, he has been given a tough card, tough hand. I need to stop saying phrases. I don't know them. I literally, it's been literally.
Been
I'm
dealt
going
a
to
tough
say
hand.
something. He's been forget it. He's had a tough time. Right, there we go. But his tactics and his formation changes and his choice in substitutions recently haven't been great. So I feel like when it comes down to the line, really, any manager can be good under like some money, but in terms of like actually changing the team around and building a team the way that we need to succeed on the pitch, I feel like that's where a new owner could come in and go, "Nah, you're gone. We'll get somebody like Chris Wilder in, who, let's be honest, will be sacked at the end of the season. We'll get him. That's it."
No. You're not allowed to say Chris Wilder. I said Chris Wilder the other week, and Zach did, and we got crucified on comments about this. You can't say Chris Wilder.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't say
you
logical
can't.
things at Birmingham City.
Nah, to answer the
Still
question,
fuming about it.
Be taking that to my grave.
I will be.
I don't know if Eustace is the manager to take us forward. I think it's a really tricky one. It's so weird with Eustace. Like under Bowyer and Karanka, it's consistently poor results, but Eustace is pretty consistently poor results with the odd fantastic result and performance sprinkled in there. It's weird. I don't know what it is or how it happens, but I thought Rotherham we were fantastic, and I thought West Brom we were fantastic. But if you're looking at the bigger picture, since the World Cup, since the 15, 16 games we played, it hasn't been anywhere good enough. I think if we really want to start pushing forward and moving up the table as a club, I think we need a manager that's probably done it before, has a little bit more experience. I like Eustace in that he's proven he can pick up results he did at the start of the season. I just don't know if as a club we should be aiming for a little bit higher than we currently are. Maybe someone who's done it before, a bit more experience. Oh, it's tricky though because Karanka had done it before and look what happened there. So I don't know. It's such a minefield. There's no right or wrong. Um, I say, oh, it's so tricky. I think he's to be fair, I think he's a result or two, a poor result or two from going. Because we know what our owners are like. They do like to sack pretty willy nilly. But we'll just have to see. It's one of those that you just cannot predict.
I think the issue comes back to is we were predicted to fucking go down. We were second favourites for relegation at the beginning of the season.
I hate it. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, well, that's at least we're not there, aren't you?
Maybe. Might have been edging towards that.
I hate that.
Might have been segueing.
I hate.
No, I wasn't going
it.
off that. I was just kind of saying, like, a lot of people said we were going down. He's kept us up. It's been a shit, like you said as well. He's not had the easiest deal of cards here. He's walked in. He's had to deal with a transfer.
Jamie, you just said he kept us up. Well, what's that be that?
Right, you know what? Right, if we go down, I will do a video topless dancing, singing to the YMCA because I'm that confident we're staying up. We're not fucking going down.
Nah, I think
don't want
there's
to
only
see
there's
exactly.
a reason,
So you don't want us to go down.
I hate
For the love of God, Blues,
yeah,
stay the fuck up. I don't want to see Jamie Lawler jiggling about singing my YMCA.
Excuse me, I've lost 7 stone. What do you mean jiggling, you bastard?
Nah,
it's a term of phrase, and I'm not very good with those.
I will. I hate it when people say that, and I'll tell you why. For the last 8 years,
singing the YMCA with his
no,
shirt on.
no. I hate the reasoning we were meant to go down. Right, I cannot stand it because as a club we have been in this position for 8 years, about 7-8 years. I think the 14-15 season or the 15, I think it was 14-15 was the last time we finished above 17th. We have been in this position for the last 8 years. It's getting ridiculous. It's not as if we're even digressing or going down or progressing slightly. We have been in the same position and completely stagnant for years. When are we going to start pushing forward? We can't keep accepting mediocrity in that oh, you know what, we've stayed up, we'll take that. It's 19th, and it has been for the last 8 years, but we're happy because we've stayed up. We've got to start moving forward. It's ridiculous. It's getting so boring season on season, seeing Blues finish 17th, 18th, 19th, or 20th. When are we going to start moving forward and progressing? Even something like 14th, I'd be happy with, because at least it's small steps, it's small progress. We've got to stop settling for we've stayed up, we've survived, happy days, because if we do that, we're just never going to move forward, and it's going to be like this for the next decade again. So
Yeah.
we need a manager, and we need a group of players, and we need a set of owners that can start pushing this club forward and not constantly keeping us in the same position and us as fans settling for it, because we need to progress. We really, really do.
But that's the main key you've just said there yourself. Like the owners need to fuck off. Like we're going to be stuck in this consistent cycle now. If anything, we're going to eventually end up going down until BSHL leave, because we are just hemorrhaging money, and the club isn't in a good place. I think any manager's going to struggle at the minute. I think it's a
But
horrible, horrible thing to walk into as our football club. It's a poison chalice. This football club's a fucking nightmare for anyone.
I've got a question here that's relatable to this point you're about to make. Who is more responsible for the post World Cup drop off? Eustace or the players? Because to me, the players have done bone idle at times this season. See the
Agree.
first 20 minutes of last night's game for the details from Dave Sherlock. What do you think to that then, going off the point you were about to make then?
Do you want this, Zach, or do you want me to go?
go on, you start.
I think a bit of both, but again, it's really difficult because I feel like I'm Team John Eustace here. I feel like ever
It's
since
not
the
a bad
Richardson
thing.
Lopez deal fell apart, I feel like the team just went on a downer, and I feel like ever since then it's just been crazy. Like I think it's just mental. I think the players have some to take some fucking responsibility, bar Jukovic, who I think has consistently, every time you've played him, give everything for the club. Harley Dean, again this season, I'd say he's had a good season because he's worked hard. Ruddy's been good. Trusty's been great. Last night was a one-off where I didn't think he performed great, but I don't think anyone... The only centre-back who played well last night for me was Harley Dean, in that
Yep.
first half especially. Um, I think most of the team and the manager maybe, but I think it all stems from the top again. I think until these owners are gone, we're going to just have to deal with this, and we don't want to just sit there and take this kicking consistently. None of us do. But who's utterly responsible? I'd say BSHL, followed very closely by Eustace, followed by the fact that the 11 lads on the pitch clearly half the time don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think there's more going on than we know. That's the issue as well. There always is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
BSHL are like the running theme of why we're performing badly. That's easily pointed out to because obviously you ain't got enough players in your squad to help them out when they get injured or when they get tired. I think then the second one is the players because I feel like they're always, they're always responsible for winning the games or losing the games. And to be honest, Eustace hasn't been that bad really compared to how bad he probably could have been because obviously when you look back through like people like Zola's and Karanka's type of teams that they were playing. I mean, Eustace has been playing Jordan Graham at left wing back, but it's not the fact that I don't know. I feel like it's the players that players obviously do. That we've had games this season where we probably haven't played the right team and still got points or still won the game. So it's always down to the players of winning and losing games. But
mm,
I feel like it
yeah,
goes in that order. Me
I
myself.
I feel you lose as a team and you win as a team. So everyone involved in the club right now at Birmingham City has some blood on their hands for the decline. I think I've said this before. I think BSHL is certainly to blame for the long term failures of Blues, and I think the players and manager are to blame for the short term. John Eustace doesn't have that much of a different team to what he had prior to the World Cup, and since then he hasn't been getting the results, and the players haven't been getting the results. So it's funny this question was asked actually because about a week ago on Twitter. I saw the exact same thing. Someone saying Eustace is not to blame for this. It's the players. And my response was just out of interest, why are you only blaming the players and not Eustace? The manager is the person who decides on the formation, style of play, how the players train each week, even small details like when and what subs to make, but he's not to blame at all. So I honestly think whilst BSHL are the problems for the club declining over the last decade, which they have, I think short term, Eustace and the players have to be blamed for what goes on the pitch, because they do. They're the one. Eustace is the one who decides the team, organises the training, sets up style of play, tactics. The players are the one who have to deliver. So Eustace and the players, for me, are all as much to blame as each other. And in terms of the long term failures, I think it's on BSHL. Stunned you into silence with such a great response, and I thank you. Do my little lap of
agree.
honour.
Already applauding
I
himself
agree.
on that comment.
It's really weird because usually me and Zach are polar opposites on these kind of arguments, but I actually
You've been
100%
agreeing with
get
each
and
other a lot
agree.
recently.
I agree with a lot of Zach's points. He's bang on.
Thanks,
Like,
mate.
and I think you get as well. Like, it must be a tough
Doing
deal
the
for
Seb
Eustace,
Larson
but he's
kisses.
right. Like, at the same time, yeah, he did decide to play a back five last night. He did decide to go well too fucking defensive last night. So I think there is some blame for Eustace as well. And I'm hoping, I haven't seen his post-match interview yet. I don't really want to watch it because if he even mentions the fact that we put 100% effort in and we played really well, I'm going to throw my head at the fucking
He
wall.
actually, yeah, the lad asking the questions seemed quite on Eustace's side as well, in terms of second half we significantly picked things up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But
can
we
get
did
worse.
the first 10, 15
That is true,
minutes,
yeah.
and that was it.
But me, you, and Tommy could have gone as a front fucking three and been more of an improvement in that second half because it was shit.
I don't know. I don't have much pace on me these days, mate. I'm not the quickest.
You
A couple of years ago, maybe, but now I
Maybe,
don't know.
yeah,
nowadays,
maybe.
yeah.
I said we can
I've-
all do. We can all do what Hannibal did last night. I could put 14 set pieces fucking shockingly out for a goal kick. I can dance around the fucking ball when we were 3-0 down the 70th minute like an absolute idiot. Like, he's fucking, yeah, Eustace does pick the team, but sometimes the players do need to take a bit of responsibility.
Yeah.
It was a fucking shit show last night.
Yeah, completely.
The only
As I
players
said,
that played well last night, Bielik, Harley, Uke, Kedra
I think
tried, to
Graham
be
was
fair, but
alright.
was getting zero service. I think Graham defensively was great. It's the first
No, he
time I've
wasn't.
ever walked
No,
away
he
from...
wasn't. No,
I was
he
gonna
wasn't.
say, I was
Wasn't.
gonna-
Going
No,
forward
going
was
forward,
okay.
he was good.
That's
Yeah,
what I meant.
yeah.
I meant going
No,
forward. I meant
yeah.
going back. He was shit.
I was gonna
I
say,
can't-
yeah, my praise for him
Maxime?
last night was his forward.
Maxime was terrible last night, I thought. Like, that first
Yeah.
goal, he was... Why was our right wing back in the middle of our own fucking box and the ball was played out wide for the first goal? So, where's...
Positionally, last night we were all over the place. We
It
literally
was
had.
shocking.
There's one point in my vlog where I literally look up and I see that there's Maxime Collins a bit further up the pitch, and then Kevin Long is. It might be the Keenan Davis goal, which I fucking knew was going to come. I absolutely knew it. Kevin Long is there, and then Trusty is following in behind. But then Harley Dean's meant to be the central centre back, and then Chong is in the middle, and Duke is out on the right. It was an
Yeah.
absolute disaster in positionally. It was just like, no wonder we were 2-0 down in 15 minutes.
The one that
Yeah.
killed me last night was we had a cross go into the box, and I looked up twice. Yuki's bolting down the right wing, whipping the ball in, and Kadra's in the middle, or Chong, and I'm literally like, why is
It was a disaster, yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the question quickly, I think it's ridiculous if anyone is solely not blaming any part of the cogs, if that's how you want to word it, within Blues at the moment. The owners are to blame, Eustace is to blame, the players are to blame. No one's innocent. No one's completely innocent in this. There's no way you can turn around like that. Comment on Twitter said, and we actually had quite a good discussion in the end. But there's no way you can say Eustace is completely innocent in all this, and there's no way you can say the players are completely innocent. It's a team game. Everyone in the club, from top to bottom, is involved with the success of Birmingham City, and things aren't working at the moment. And everyone's got a job to do, and I'd argue most people at that club aren't doing their job. Therefore, everyone's got some sort of blame on that, some sort of blood on their hands. So, yeah, to answer the question, everyone's to blame. BSHL long term, players and Eustace short term. It's as simple as that for me.
Spot on, yeah. Fine. Last question before we move on to reflecting on the Rotherham game and looking ahead to the QPR game. From Mike Duffy. What the hell's happened to Hogan? I'd put my house on him scoring that
Fuck knows,
1-on-1
Mike.
last night.
Fuck off, Duff. All right, I did your podcast the other day. Piss off, Duff. No, I'm joking. I literally said this on the Voice of the Vic podcast because it was me and Mike. I said to Mike, I went, Hogan can't score for fucking beans at the minute. I don't know what's going on. Like, as soon as I can't relive it in my head. 50 seconds to the second half. As soon as I saw him put it that far wide, I just wanted to.
Honestly.
I said to
didn't
my mate,
think
I said,
it
I'm
was
just
that.
going to go home.
I didn't think
That's
it was that
that
far
yeah
wide when I first
yeah
watched it. I was like, oh, at least hit the target, man. But then I look back
yeah
on it, I was like, oh, fucking hell.
It looked like the
yeah
centre half had just toe poked out for a corner. I was like, oh, it's a great tackle from the centre. Oh, no, he fucked up. Good.
Wait, no,
that
it's
that
Hogan. Let me
yeah
remember. Yeah.
that shot screams though a player who's just completely shot of confidence at the moment, and it's a shame because you know what, it wouldn't surprise me if Hogan has had. I think we said this in a previous podcast, but I can't remember. It wouldn't surprise me if Hogan has had less than half a shot per game since coming back from injury. Not even on target per game. He's just. I feel it's tricky. At the moment, he's so absent and so unimpactful. But saying that, we know when Hogan's on form, he is a fantastic striker. So it's such a tricky one because at the moment, it start of the season was the best Hogan we've ever seen. At the moment, we're probably seeing the worst Hogan we've ever seen. It's so tricky. Again, like it is with most things with Blues, it's that inconsistency in it. And he's just so off form and so shot of confidence at the moment that it's no surprise he missed that one-on-one last night. So hopefully for Hogan, he can just bag a goal or two within the next 3 or 4 games, slowly build that confidence again, and have a good end to the season. That's all we can hope for.
Just bag against QPR, Hogan, for fuck's sake. They just
Yeah,
conceded 6 to Blackpool. Like, come on.
Yeah, this
yeah,
would be the perfect time because I
I
understand
feel
that.
like. Go on, go
Because
on.
I understand that Watford are like they're a better team, of course. So against QPR now, we should take that loss and say, look, might have just been a bad night. So let's just say, right, dust it off. Let's go again against QPR.
And these
And
things
then,
happen, don't they?
yeah, exactly. And the team who've just lost 6-1. If we then go and lose this game, I mean, like, come on, like that's the real kick in the teeth, that is, because form wise and confidence wise, we should be fucking getting at them. That honestly, we should go into that game thinking, yeah, we should beat these. Not thinking, let's sit back and let's defend and let's try and not
mm,
concede in the first 15 minutes like we did last week. No, go in like we were talking about this actually in the podcast we didn't release. Um, we were basically saying that we need to get out Watford and press them early on and try and make a game out of it.
They could have
And we
been
did.
got at.
They could have been, yeah, because we did have some options in the top of the pitch at the start of the game, but we let them out too easily. I think like there was no pressure up top, and also
yeah,
when we did get the ball after the turnover, it was nothing. It was just hold on to the ball for a bit and play it around slowly. Which, if that was the case, where was the runs off the player who just received the ball? Like Kevin Long plays into Bielik, no run from Chong or Kadra off the front of them to try and make a diverting option. It's none of it.
yeah. No, I know.
Be-
I'm so done with. Go on, Jamie. You go.
just said Bielik was basically a fucking fourth centre back last night, weren't he? At points,
He was,
Mm.
yeah.
it was
Yeah, you're
literally
not
like
wrong.
Six at the back.
a back six,
It's
Annabelle just running
ridiculous.
round into thin air, and
It's
Chong
ridiculous.
just
Yeah.
being useless. Really, is sad to say. Like he was dire last night. I think you go 4-3-3 against QPR and you send it with the same team that just beat Rotherham 2-0.
Yeah.
Put it as a
Why?
shit
Yeah.
performance and just full send it. Get at QPR. I don't care if
Yeah.
you're the away team.
Yeah.
Play a lot with the home team and go for it.
Yeah.
Just attack.
You're completely right. I don't know why we didn't do it against Watford though. It's mind blowing. Right. How can someone look at that performance against Rotherham, the way we set up, and think we'll do it differently next game? It makes zero sense. We were so
Yeah.
fantastic against Rotherham. Why would we set up? I'm so done of watching Blues against the top 10 defend for our lives from minute one. It's not the way to play football. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Or at least it doesn't work with the set of players we've got. It just doesn't. It's happened time and time again. We've come up against a team who are supposedly a good attacking side, and we just defend for our lives from minute one, and we concede. We concede early on. We conceded 2 within the first 16 minutes, and it's game over. I'm so done with it. Let's take the game to QPR on Saturday. Let's show a bit of attacking threat, and let's. You know what? At the start of the season, I said it so many times. I said first 15 minutes, we were fantastic. We always took the game to teams. We played the way we wanted to play, and we played attacking football. Since then, we haven't been doing it. So, yeah, you're right, Jamie. Completely agree. Saturday, take the game to QPR, show a bit of attacking intent, and don't just sit back and defend for our lives because we don't want a point against QPR. It's a 6 point now. We want all 3.
Yeah.
End of.
We're going to now go on to the Rotherham, reflecting on the Rotherham game. But before that, we'll have a quick word from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by the Modern Milkman. Join the milk round and get a wide variety of fresh milk, groceries, and household products delivered straight to your door in reusable containers and recyclable packaging. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll receive £15 off your first 3 weeks, and you'll also be directly supporting the channel. So click the link in the description to sign up now. Now back to the video. Yeah, Rotherham. It was a good game. Very much enjoyed it. I had the hospitality tickets with me and my brother. Very good, very enjoyable. I know. Fucking hell, calm down. What's the matter with you?
Sorry.
Ditched you poor people to go and sit with the no, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. The food was great. The complimentary bar throughout the day had me a little bit pissed to put it bluntly. And yeah, it was great. The people were great there. Staff were lovely. It was great. It was really good. It was great speaking to everybody. And yeah, if I ever got offered to do it again, you're damn right I'm doing it again. And I would recommend to anybody else if they've given the opportunity to go into it. To give it a go. It was fantastic. But a little bit on the game, and then we can sort of compare the two, I suppose, in terms of like QPR and Rotherham, and sort of take the positives from that game and try and merge it into the QPR game. Because I feel like had we have played the same team against Watford that we did against Rotherham, then we could probably weigh up the comparisons between that really. But we've had a really good game against Rotherham and then a really poor game against Watford. So what positives we need to take from the Rotherham game into the QPR game?
Attack.
Yeah.
Just attack. Get people to run off Jukovic when you're playing the ball forward. Don't start Hannibal. Do not start Hannibal Medbury.
Who do you play instead?
Fucking Chang.
Chang?
I
Okay.
love the aggression you said.
Chang.
Fucking
Not
Chang.
Hannibal. Not Hannibal. Like, I'm sorry, but last night he was atrocious. His set pieces were terrible. Like, I don't know what was up with him last night. Like, I'd even be. I'd say drop Chong, but he's so good on the right wing against Rotherham. Like, you can't drop him if you play
Would
in
you
that formation again.
would you play Hall there instead?
I thought George was great though in that attacking mid role, weren't he, against Rotherham?
I'm gonna make
He
this
was the only
dead
one carrying the
simple,
ball
right?
forward.
I'm gonna make this dead simple, right? Play the exact same team, the exact same style, the exact same way we did against Rotherham. Simple, same team, same formation, same attacking setup, and at least we'll have shown we're giving it a good go. We're not sitting back. We're not accepting a point. Honestly, Rotherham was fantastic. I thought we defended so well. Rotherham hardly had any chances at all. We moved the ball brilliantly. We used the wings and the wide play superbly. Kedra and Chong were so involved throughout the entire game, both sides, to be honest. Getting plenty of crosses into the box, taking plenty of shots inside the box, outside the box. We were fantastic. So why he's changed it, I don't know. So the easiest thing to do, same team, same formation, same setup, same style of play as we did against Rotherham, against QPR, and hopefully we'll be in a good chance of winning.
If QPR do see that we're playing the same team though, will we get caught out for it?
I don't think so necessarily. I think plenty of teams each week field pretty much the same teams. The thing is, you know how a lot of teams in the Championship are going to play. We saw Luton. Luton's clear goal and clear game plan was to get the ball wide and get crosses into the box. A team like, I don't know, let me think. A team like Sheffield United, extremely attacking. They like to use the wings as well. You know they're not going to defend for their lives. Burnley, Sheffield United, they're going to take the game to you. We don't have, I think, a specific style of play, or at least I can't clearly, easily see one. My best guess is to get the wing backs to come forward and get crosses into the box. But again, we don't often do that. We like to sit back and defend. So no, I don't think we'll be figured out. Same setup, same style of play against QPR, and I think we're in a good chance of taking all 3 points.
If we get caught out by a team that's just conceded 6 to Blackpool, then something's fucking very wrong.
It's very
Very
Blues, that's for
wrong.
sure.
But they beat Watford 1-0, didn't they, on the weekend? So just don't know
Well,
what team we're going to come out against.
let me pose this question to you then. If you're the QPR manager now, and with the Blues to put the same team out that they did against Rotherham, how would you play against us?
Put 4 men on
Good
Cadra.
question. No, it's a good question. It's actually a really good question. I'm very much a believer in play your style of football and then take the games to other teams. So if I was the QPR manager, I'd want us to, regardless of Blues, I want us to play our style of football and take the game to Blues. But in terms of how I'd counter Blues, I'd want to play defensive because we clearly showed a lot of attacking threat against Rotherham. We used the width brilliantly when we played the 4-3-3. Midfield, we were tight and solid. There are so many positives to take from Rotherham. I'm just so confused how we can go from that to the way we played against Watford. So, you know what? We just need to do the exact same we did against. And it's easier said than done. But I think tactically and formation wise, if we keep things the same, we're with a good chance.
Jamie?
I think most teams try and do the same thing against us, which is, can you get Jukovic out of the game? The problem is 90% of games, Jukovic will still be a dominant presence. I think our whole attacking emphasis comes down to how much we can get the ball to Jukovic and how much we can run off
Right.
him. I think if you're smart, you try and deploy a centre half on Jukovic and get him, just take him down every time. 90% of the time, the ref ain't going to fucking give a foul on Jukovic, is he? I mean, I was surprised to see last night Jukovic got a couple of fouls his way, and I was like, bloody hell, like, this is a nice ref.
He was an okay ref, actually, to be fair to him. Just to give you the full lineup of that on that game, it was Ruddy
Wait,
in
can we
goal.
see if we can predict it or remember it?
Okay, go on.
Because I think it was
What,
it
against
was
Rotherham?
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Ruddy, Colin, Dean, Long, Trusty. It was Hall, Kedra, Djukovic, Chong, uh, uh, Chang, and Bielik.
Correct. It
Darn.
was a bit disconjointed, but it was that we'll have that.
Got there in the end. Got there in the end.
Yeah, so the back four was Colin, Dean, Long, and Trusty. Midfield five of Chong, Hall, Chang, Bielik, and Kadra, and then Duke on top. So where's the weak links in that team? Because obviously we played a team.
I
If we'd
don't
have
think
played
there
this
is one
against
in that team.
Watford,
And there's not one.
is there like Alfie Chang? Is he a bit young and you might target
Maybe
him?
people would look at the midfield, but
Austin Trusty
Alfie,
being a
It
left
proved
back.
it was fantastic, though, didn't it? That midfield against Rotherham was superb. Every single one of them.
and I think
Even
the
when
thing that
Jordan
impressed
James
me,
came on.
the left mid and right mid were both tracking back as well. That's what impressed me the most. Kedra especially was getting back and helping Austin out.
Yeah.
Maxime was doing all right on the right, and Chong was every so often getting back and putting his foot in. No,
Yeah. I thought Trusty was good at left back. I think Trusty's still a superb. I still think Austin Trusty's one of the best defenders we've had at Blues in a very long time. I think centre back or left back, he's fine. Yeah, there's not a weakness in that team. Kevin Long's significantly improved, or was at least fantastic against Rotherham. Can't really
was, yeah.
praise any of the defenders last night because shipping in 3 goals is never good. But in terms of that Rotherham team, I don't think there's a weakness. No.
Well, I'm definitely impressed by that team. That's for sure. It definitely feels like the strongest team to go forward, which sounds strange, but after the current run of form, I feel like that is probably our strongest team, particularly Chang as well. I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see more of Jordan James as well.
side note, Backer's back on Saturday.
That's good.
Yes.
That is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's big.
So there is that option off the bench then, isn't there?
If you're going to do
Yeah.
anything, I'd say, because George Hall basically had that free roam role, didn't he, where he was just free to do what he wants.
Particularly second
Give
half.
that. I'd like to see Bakuna in that kind of a role where he just got the freedom to play.
And you
I feel
could
like
move,
Bakuna would be dangerous in that role.
and you can move Hall out to the right, keep
Yeah,
Kadra on the
and
left.
give Chong a rest.
Because I feel like Chong's one of those players who, well, how old is he now? Like 23, is he? Sort of that age. Who, obviously, I think people expect him to be first team quality, but I don't think he's actually played many first team games really anywhere else before Blues. So this is
No.
his first full season, really. So, like, I just don't know whether he's been quite adaptive to how it's all been this season. Because, I mean, last night he just didn't have any threat to him at all. He looked all over the place. I don't know what was up with him because he did okay against Rotherham, and then against Watford he was non-existent.
Chong throughout the season has shown sparks of promise, but other than that, not a lot. I don't think he's performing consistently. I think sometimes Chong will pick up the ball and you can see, yeah, it makes sense. He's worth 1.45 million because on the ball he is very good. He's got that pace, he's got that skill. He can beat players, and I think there's very few players in this Blues team that are happy to try and take on a few players. But sadly, he lacks the end product at the moment. Maybe the effort slightly, maybe one of the few players who doesn't quite track back enough and get stuck in enough. Maybe needs to bulk up a bit. I don't know. I'm glad Chong's ours. I'm glad he's our player because he is a good footballer. There is a good footballer in Chong, and he's shown moments or glimmers of promise throughout the entire season. He just hasn't done it consistently, and I'd argue the same with the entire team.
Yeah. Stop speaking facts, Zach. I
can't
listen
the
to you when
stunned
you
into
talk.
silence again. Stunned into
Annoying.
silence again.
I like having a back and forth with you, but I can't fucking do it today. You're talking like, all right. You're talking normal facts.
Yeah, what can I say?
Nah, I just start some beef for no reason. Like, just start having a go at him for like.
Well, actually, I saw a post. It wasn't for Blues, but it was what football opinion has you like this, and it's a guy with a bunch of swords pointed to his face. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter.
Might have done, yeah.
I'd like to know actually, what is your controversial Blues opinion that can maybe
Jamie, drop the bomb.
Come on, Jamie, let's hear it.
I don't know if I actually have one. That's the thing.
I don't know. I put you on the spot.
What was the Christmas podcast based all around?
Mbappe is massively overrated. To be fair, that is. I will actually die on that hill as well. He is an overrated guy. But we're not talking about PSG today.
No, we're not.
No, we're talking about Blues. I put you on the spot there, to be fair, but
should we do Blues ones then, like controversial Blues opinion?
I might.
Bassini would have changed our club for the better.
Oh, there we go.
That's just stupid. That's just stupid. I'll walk out. I'm not even going to debate it.
So Jamie drops the mic and Zach walks away.
I actually might have one.
Go on.
I think Harley Dean has been a fantastic defender throughout his entire time at Blues. I think he had a period where he made a few errors, but other than that, I think he went for a period of being a bit of a scapegoat, and I think undeservedly. I thoroughly think Harley Dean has been a fantastic servant for Blues, and I think a lot of people would disagree with that. But for me, I
completely agree with you.
I think he's been consistently good from start to finish. I think he's been a leader. I imagine he's a bit of a voice in the dressing room. He clearly cares about Blues. I hate when people say he doesn't care. He shows he cares. Like I said, I remember he had a couple months where he made a few errors that led to goals. And I think off the back of that, he was a bit of a scapegoat, and people were quite harsh on him. But in my opinion, I think Harley Dean's been a fantastic servant from start to finish.
And I think a lot of Birmingham fans and football fans in general, actually, not just Birmingham fans, I'll go out on them and say this. If your footballer, if any footballer in the world is consistent for 5 straight years, you're fucking Sergio Ramos. People make mistakes, especially in the Championship.
Yeah, of course.
People forget this. If you were consistent and never made a mistake for your footballing career, you'd play for Real Madrid and PSG, for fuck's sake.
That is true.
Yeah,
we're Birmingham City. We're not signing perfect footballers, of course we're not. Why do you think Hannibal's on loan to us? He's still got a bit of greenness about him when he plays. Chong, he's still got a bit of greenness about him when he plays. Harley's going to make a mistake. Kevin Long, at first, when he signed, everyone wanted him gone after that Bristol game. He's turned it round. He's proved us all wrong. I'd give Kevin Long another year right now. I think he's been phenomenal. Last couple of games.
Yeah.
Except last night. Yeah.
I completely agree with you on the fact that players make mistakes in the Championship, and if they wouldn't, then they would be.
Yeah, you've got that spot on. To be fair, Jamie, you're completely right.
You'd be £200 million fucking footballer, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Let's be fair about it.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. You're spot on.
I just don't know. I'm trying to think of some controversial opinions. I'm sure I've got one. I'm absolutely certain I've got one.
Scott Hogan is the most clinical centre forward I've ever seen at Birmingham City.
Well, that's just not true, though, is it? Because statistically, that would make me wrong.
Let's think.
See,
I don't want to say one for the sake of saying one.
No, exactly. Yeah.
When you guys watch this, so please comment a controversial thing because I want.
We should tweet this out. We should genuinely, because I saw a page do it and I thought that's really good. So we should tweet out what Birmingham opinion has you like this.
Or just football ones in general, because some of these football opinions are hilarious. Some of them are incredible.
I saw a clip the other day, and keep this in, Tommy, because it's hilarious. My mate sent it to me. There's this guy talking about a footballer, and he goes, technically, he's as good as Mo Salah. On the ball, as good as Mo Salah. Finishing, as good as Mo Salah. And then he goes, Danny Welbeck is a world-class player. And I was like, no way. Danny Welbeck being compared to Mo Salah. I was expecting him to say something like Rashford or something.
Yeah. Welbeck.
Do you guys follow, it's called Football Controversies or something like that, or Football, just like football.
Probably.
They're
Yeah,
incredible. One of
yeah.
them literally had me in tears. It was James Ward-Prowse doesn't actually play football; he just takes free kicks.
Mm.
Facts. I was like,
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
like one of
yeah.
those players that I don't know, like Larson was a bit like that sometimes, wasn't he? Even like
yes.
the
Seb
early
would vanish for
days.
4 weeks and then just bang a free kick, and you're like, oh,
Oh,
hello.
he's back now, is he? Yeah. Score 40-yard free kick against fucking Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm still
I'm
trying to
trying to
think of
think.
controversial
I'm
opinions.
really, it's annoying me. I feel like I've definitely
Should we
got
move
I
on?
something that
quite I
people are going.
quite like Chuck Zanike. I wouldn't
Really?
say he was fantastic, but I didn't mind him. I thought when he came on, he'd always have an opportunity or two that he'd create for himself.
Because he was the
I didn't
size of
mind
a
Chuck Zanike.
fridge.
I
Yeah.
know,
He
but
was like
like,
a fridge up front.
His long shot ability was fucking amazing. Like
Oh, he
honestly,
could
I was really
smash a ball.
frustrated he didn't take more long shots because I think it was against Blackburn we lost 4-0
Some
against. He
power.
just hit it from he hit the bar. I was like fucking hell. It
I
was
quite
like
liked Chuck Zanike. I thought
well,
every time he came on, he at least had a chance or two.
he wasn't the right quality, but
No,
he
you're right.
tried. You could
I
see
wouldn't want
him.
him up front for a full 90, put it that way. But I liked him off the
Mm.
bench for the last 20 minutes to just cause some problems and give the defence something to think about.
Do you want a controversial opinion? Lecco should have had more game time. I'm not even joking when I say that. He
You
showed
were
so
up
much
his
promise.
arse
He
all
showed
fucking
so
week,
much
and
promise
even when he didn't
in
even
December
play.
before we sold him. When he came on for the last couple of games, I was like, he's actually changing games, and he comes on. He's played well, and then we fucking sold him, and he's scoring goals now in League One.
Yeah, but it's League One. It's wrong. It's
I
wrong
can't get
level,
behind
isn't
that
it?
one. I'm sorry. I can't get.
Hold on.
I think he had a good 10 minutes when he came on for his final game for Blues, and other than that, I think he was.
Yeah.
He's not championship quality, which is simple as really. I feel like that's one thing. I
But
do
everyone's
have.
telling us to get Sam Cosgrove back because apparently he is.
Yeah, no. Again, on that one, no, wrong quality. You know, we need to
Didn't work for
look.
Blues.
Yeah, it's difficult with this transfer window, obviously coming up at the end of the season. It's like, who do we genuinely buy? Who's the next
I think
player
it's
that
more
we are
about
going to
keeping
get?
our essentials at the minute as well. Keeping George,
Yeah,
keeping
I
Alfie,
understand that. Whether
keep Joe,
it's
keep JJ, because
uh-huh.
they're gonna be the ones who are gonna get targeted. We need to make sure if we're gonna bring a player or two in, fantastic. But we're about to lose a couple of players with contracts.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to keep the young lads.
I've got a controversial opinion which might stir a few, but
Here
it's
we
not
go.
something that's happened before. I think to shake things up shake few things up. Uh, Sell Maxime Collin, sell Harley Dean, sell Lucas Djukovic, sell them all. Get a new proper team that's have new start to everything for next season.
I would agree with
That's
everyone
so
but you.
that's so much easier said than done though. Like sell everyone and then buy a completely fresh new
Those
squad.
type of players, you know what I mean? Like Deeney, like Duke, like Maxime Collin and
So
Collin.
the
But
older
Dean.
players.
I think argumentatively though, you need some experienced heads there
Yeah,
still.
But
yeah.
you
And
would
Lucas
replace them with
Djukovic
new
is
players like that.
invaluable.
I think Djukovic is certainly proven recently he's still got a few years left in him. If Harley Dean's wage bill wasn't so high, I'd love Harley Dean for another season.
But
or two.
would you risk just getting? Would you risk selling them? And I love them. Don't get me wrong, but as a way of sort of trying to revamp the team a little bit, would it be worth looking for other players similar to them who've got a bit of experience at
I
that
don't
sort of
think we'd
peak
get much for
age?
them anyway. I don't think we'd get much at all for them
I'm not
anyway.
thinking of money wise. I'm thinking of the players we can get from that. You know, we replace them and we go and buy players similar to them.
I think for the price, I don't think we'd get much better. I honestly don't. I think. Let's be honest. We wouldn't get 1 million for Djukovic. I'd be surprised if we got. We might get a little bit more for Harley Dean. I don't think we'd get much for Troy. I don't think we'd get. I think we'd get pennies for these players, and in
No,
return,
of course. I'm not
I doubt
thinking
we.
it from a financial point of view. I'm thinking it from a team point of view. I'm trying to think of players that we can replace them with at that sort of peak age of like 27, where it's like you've become like you've got that good experience in the championship now, and you look and try and get
Yeah,
those
true.
players into the team. That's what I'm seeing it from. Because I love Djukovic and I love Maxime Collin as well, and all those players. But I just feel like maybe it might be worth taking a gamble on them and just letting them leave or selling them and then bringing in players to replace them in that way.
Maybe I don't think that's our big issue though. I almost think it's just revamping the areas that need revamping regardless of age and experience, if that makes sense. So I think
I just wonder whether they've gotten a bit stale. Maybe
I know
being
what
at
you,
the
I
club
know
for
what
too
you
long.
mean. I do know what you'll mean in that we've been in the same position for years, and it's the same players we've sort of had. We've sort of got a similar core to what we've had in previous years. So I know what you're saying. I just question if we'd get much better for our finances. If that makes, I know you're not bringing finances into it, but if we're speaking realistically, we can't afford to spend. I think what I'm trying to say is I think the millions we spend on those players could be better utilised elsewhere. So I think Djukovic is still a good player. I think Harley Dean's still a good player. But I think that money could be revamped into maybe a left back, another right back if Colin goes, maybe another midfielder, another striker, is what I'm trying to say. The money that we spend on that, I think, could be better used elsewhere.
Jamie, which side are you sitting on here?
I don't know. It's tough, isn't it?
Come on,
Uh,
Jamie. Come on.
the thing
Like
is,
he's a dog.
I wouldn't give a shit if Jukovic was our highest earner in the club. I think he's earned the right to stay at Birmingham City until the day he retires. He could sit
Yeah,
there
I
earning
would like
20
to
grand
see
a week
that.
with his feet up, retiring on a beach for all I care. Because that man, for me, has kept us in this league for a good 4 seasons at least. That man's goals and the way he's played towards the end of some of these seasons have held us in this league. So we could get rid of Maxime, we can get rid of Dean, we can get rid of all these other players, that's fine. But I think Lucas Djukovic, of all the players, has earned the right to stay at Birmingham City if he wants to.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
I'm
not.
going
Yeah,
sentimental with that, but I just honestly that man is just a hero. Like
he's
you don't
great.
get
Yeah,
to bash the word legend around a lot of football clubs. But I think it's fair to say Lucas is definitely up there in legend status for me.
Birmingham City Football Club. Get a statue of Lucas Djukovic and
Yeah,
stick
it's
it in the
actually
car
Lucas.
park.
Give him a fucking testimonial whenever he goes. I don't care if he's
Yeah.
10 years or not. He deserves it.
We'll wrap this up with some predictions then, boys. Let's go.
Right.
Got to respond 3-1 Blues.
Ooh,
Big response.
interesting.
1-1, and I will explain, but I'm about
Okay.
2 minutes away from disappearing.
Have you not got your charger anywhere?
I do, but it's so temperamental. I have to like move my laptop around so much in order for it to charge, and it won't work.
Fair enough. I'll go 2-2. I don't think we'll win. But I feel we'll play better, and I don't think we do well down at QPR most of the time. Particularly not in the recent years we played them. So I feel like 2-2. Zach, do you want to explain why you're 1-1?
Don't think we'll win. Could lose, but don't think we'll lose 1-1.
Yeah, fair enough. Jamie, you're 3-1. That's a fairly
Got to
bold
respond.
statement.
Got to respond. Players will surely not want to accept that Watford result. I think Pride's going to get hurt. I think they felt the emotion with us on Saturday and they knew how much that result meant to us and to them. They know they can play that well. But they've just conceded 6 to fucking Blackpool. I think we know we've got to get at them this time. There's no mistakes. And I think if Eustace has half a set of bollocks, he will drop the shit players who played last night.
Yeah.
I think he'll literally turn around to Hannibal and Chung, maybe Chung, or he'll play Chung on the wing instead. And
I think he's got to
"You
drop
were shit.
Chong, yeah.
You don't deserve it. You don't deserve to play. You were dog shit." Give Graham a run at right wing. Why not? Why not play Jordan Graham at right wing? Because he's played there anyway. Put Kadra back on the left. See what happens. Experiment. Why not? Or play Hogan can play right wing, surely.
I don't want to change the team around too much, though. That's the thing.
Just play the team you played against Rotherham, Eustace.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Just play the
I
team
know.
you played there at work. Play it again.
But there
man.
again, if you do that, then you play Chong, he was terrible last night. So
Thought he was
But
alright against Rotherham though.
I think the whole team was terrible though as well. Like I think it was just an overall shit performance. The only player in the first, a couple of players in the first half, like I named at the beginning, were the only ones that did well for me. Harley Dean was the only one who deserved to still have a Birmingham shirt on in the defence after half time, because Harley was actually trying. I think Harley kept us in that, even at 2-0. We could have got him 5-0 down at half time last night, lads. In my opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
yeah,
Keenan Davis can like step on some upside down Lego though, for all I'm concerned, because he's a knob.
yeah, he's a twat. It's just so typical. Right, Jamie, your microphone's about to blow my ears off. Fucking hell.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. We're gonna wrap
Yeah,
this
it's
up
the
now.
phone.
Okay. No, I don't know why that is, but technology in it's crap. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening to the Blues Focus podcast again. You've been listening to Mr. Jamie Lawler and Zach Woods. Thank you guys for joining me once again.
Anytime.
Not a problem.
Always great listening with these guys. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Blues Focus. It's probably not that, but I can't be asked in saying them every single time. They're on
Just
the
search
screen.
Blues Focus, you'll find us.
Yeah, search for Blues Focus. They'll be on one of them, and chances are they're going to be the right one. We've just
Oh,
got too. There's too many with the underscore and the capital letters and the. Well, it's too much.
I'm not here next week as well, guys. So you two
I
have got this
know.
on your own.
Ah.
You got a week without me,
Thank
guys.
God. No,
I
I'm
know,
joking.
man.
I'm
He's looking.
joking.
Thank God. Fucking hell. Can you imagine?
Not bad, anyway.
The average age will decrease by 80 years. I'm done now. I'm done. I'm sorry, Jamie.
I know
I'm
where
done.
you live.
You do. You do.
Thank God
I'm
he doesn't
sorry.
know where I live. Right. Yeah, you can listen to this
guys.
podcast. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, sorry, and Google Podcasts, all through the Sports Social Network. Thank you guys for joining me once again. And keep right on.
Keep
Keep
right
right
on.
on.